A girl was sacrificing blood in the fire rituals for a long time, and she was chanting mantras very loudly.
Don't do this, daughter. It's a sin. Fear God, my child.
But Janet did not listen to her mother, and when the rituals was over, she mixed a lot of blood in the flour, kept in the bowl in front, and started kneading it, and then took out the burning coal from the fire altar and mixed it in the flour, and while kneading, made a dough doll out of it.
Mother, when stubbornness becomes passion, then nothing remains, right and wrong.
Having said this, Janet cut the dough doll into 7 pieces with a knife and sealed those 7 pieces by putting them in 7 different pots filled with blood, then put them on her stomach like a child and went into the woods. And Janet's mother kept watching her doing all this with astonishment. Today, it has been more than 8 months since Janet went to the forest, and even today, her mother is sitting outside the same forest, waiting for Janet to return. Then one day, Janet's mother was doing some work in her house. That's when a man came to her, screaming,
"Open the door, Judy. I say open the door."
A man was banging on the door, screaming. When Janet's mother opened the door, she saw a man standing in front of her, covered in blood. He was George, and both were from the same village.
Hey George, what happened to you? And why are you covered in blood? Come on, first go inside. I will bandage you with ointment.
No, I do not have time for all this. You just go quickly, or else that witch will eat my son.
On hearing the name of the witch from George's mouth, Judy understood that the witch whom George was talking about was none other than her own daughter, Janet.
What happened to Janet? Is she all right?
Yes, Judy, she is absolutely fine. But she has my son. And when I tried to take my son from her, she did this to me with her black magic. You just go quickly, or else she can do anything with my son.
Don't worry, George. I will not let anything happen to your son. Let's go.
Hearing George's words, Judy immediately went with him to the woods. Judy was just wandering here and there, calling out to her daughter, Janet. But even after wandering for a long time, nothing was found about Janet. He was having bad thoughts about his son. His eyes became moist just thinking about him, and said while beating his head,
I could never have imagined, even in my dreams, that I would get such a severe punishment for the sin committed by me unknowingly. That pot should not have broken.
What did you say? You broke her pots. Do you have any idea what crime you have committed unknowingly?
Judy also listened to George's words. She asked him again,
When did this happen? What happened that day? Tell me.
Judy, 2 months ago, when my son turned 10 months old, and a friend of mine had come from the city, whom I had taken to the woods to get drunk.
What man? I thought you had brought me to the woods so we would go on a hunt. But you have been drinking alcohol, sitting here. I could have done all this at my flat as well. I just came here for some adventure and thrills, man. How did I know it would be so boring here?
Adam drinks alcohol, then looks at the surrounding forest carefully, and then starts cursing George. But George did not mind any of his words. He would smile listening to all her words, and would only say this.
Leave it, friend. Adam, next time you come, I will definitely take you on a wild boar hunt. This time, just use alcohol.
But Adam did not listen to him, and got up drunk. Perhaps he had heard someone's voice. He had just gone some distance leaving George, when he saw a woman standing in front of him in a red dress, who was adorned like a new bride. Adam was looking at her body from top to bottom. That's when his eyes came to that girl's stomach and stopped. She had pots stuck to her stomach, just like a mother holding her child inside her womb.
What is all this gimmick? You are not a ghost, are you? In this jungle, in pair of Surrey, making a fuss about these pots.
Beware if even a word is said about my children. You don't know who I am. That's why go back to where you came from. You will be alive.
George was also listening to everything standing behind Adam, seeing the girl in red dress. Even George's faith was shaken for a moment, but the next moment he had calmed his mind and said, pulling Adam back.
Adam, let's go from here. Don't talk too much. This is the one whose stories I used to tell in the office. Accept the word and go from here.
While explaining to George Adam, he was saying to him, that's why Adam said while releasing his hand.
Well, it is the same woman, Janet, who will give birth to a devil's child from a Dodo. Now look at her carefully. She looks like a gimmick. The one who will now show the feat of tossing these pots in the air.
Adam was making fun of Janet and was walking like her. And when he reached very close to Janet, touching her cheek, he reached up to her lips and then said while massaging them hard,
Come, walk with me. I don't know about these pots, but I can make you a firm mother. I will really make you happy.
Saying to Janet, Adam was touching her here and there in a dirty way, but as soon as her hand passed through Janet's body and went to her pots, Janet uprooted his hand from his body in a jerk, due to which all the intoxication of Adam was removed in a moment and he started screaming in pain. George also got scared seeing Adam bleeding. The very next moment, Janet burst into anger and grabbed Adam by the neck and hung him in the air. Adam was writhing in pain in the air. His windpipe was being compressed so hard that the pupils of his eyes were about to burst.
Didn't I say? Stay away from me. Otherwise I will remove you from this life. Die now.
Janet said in anger and pressed Adam's neck so hard that his neck broke and the pupils of his eyes came out bursting. Seeing all this, George started trembling with fear. That's when Janet felt something dirty on her stomach. When she lowered her eyes, she lost consciousness. She immediately threw Adam's dead body away and started screaming in pain. Actually, what happened was that when Janet broke Adam's neck, he broke the pot hanging on Janet's stomach with his foot, in which the heart of the devil was flourishing. Janet was crying loudly, seeing the blood falling from the pot. George also understood that he has invited a very big disaster from which he could not escape. He was about to run away, leaving Janet crying. That's why Janet said to George,
You are also a father. The day your child steps into this forest, I will take out his heart and attach it to my son. Remember, I will not leave you.
I had come back from the forest after hearing this. But yesterday, my wife was coming back from the market with my son. That for some reason, she had to stay in this forest. And your daughter kidnapped my son with her black magic, and also made my wife unconscious. Judy, I have come to you with great hope. Save my son's life. I fall at your feet.
Saying this, George himself was drenched in tears. Judy also knew the whole story, and she also understood that if she didn't do something soon, George's son would not survive. Thinking this, she started mumbling some mantras by closing her eyes and walking in one direction with closed eyes. Both had just gone some distance when George saw his son crying of hunger near a fire altar. But Janet's attention was on her pots, opening which she was taking out feet made of flour from one pot and head made of flour from another pot. Similarly, Janet had prepared a whole body made of flour by opening 6 pots, the body of a devil. If he lacked anything, it was just a heart. Thinking of whom, she immediately turned towards George's son. That's when George said,
Wait, witch, he is not a dough mannequin. He is my son. Be careful if you even touch him.
George is right. Janet, leave your madness. Nothing is kept in this black knowledge. They give nothing except pain and suffering.
No, mother. I will be a mother. And today no one can stop me from becoming a mother. Not you too.
Saying this, Janet lifted George's child in her arms and also took a big knife in her other hand. Seeing this, George was about to step forward to save his child when a hand came out from under the ground and caught hold of George's leg. That hand belonged to Adam, whom Janet had made her slave by black powers. George was now fighting with the dead body of his own friend Adam, so that he can save his son from dying. Then suddenly Judy also took out a knife and said to Janet,
Stop, daughter. Let's end this game now. I made you also with this knowledge. But what did I give you except sorrow and yearning? Neither can you become my mother and can set up your new home.
Saying this, Judy kept the knife on her neck. Seeing Judy doing this, Janet also got scared. She also said fearfully,
No, Mom, you can't do that. If you die, my existence will also end forever. I'll go back to being a Dodo. Mom. No. Mom.
Before Janet said something else, Judy separated her own head from her torso, and immediately she turned from alive to dead. After the death of Judy, Janet also became a doll again in front of George's eyes, and his son fell on the ground with a blow. Adam also got freedom as soon as Janet was finished, and George brought his son safely to his home. But he had brought one more thing home with him. Yes, you thought it right. That flower doll from which Janet was born.